Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface on the Alpha for World of Warcraft's next expansion, Legion, and this is the opening scenario from the Alliance perspective when you head to the Broken Isles. Now, because this is an opening scenario, there is going to be elements of storytelling, so spoilers will be discussed in this video. If you do not want to know any spoilers at all, then just give the video a thumb up and then be on your merry way. No harm, no foul. Even say hello to me in the comment section if you want. But there might be some spoiler discussion going on there, so careful. And then go off and watch that new show on Fox, you know, where they put the 16 cats in the arena together and they throw in a flick blade and then only one cat can leave alive. I think I dreamt that, actually. Maybe not. Okay, so let's start the video. Let's say, let's kind of go into what is going on here. And I have to say, the very first thing which jumped out at me when I began this was, oh, look, Ma, I'm back at the opening segment of Mists of Pandaria. It was very, very familiar indeed. And in actual fact, it seems like a little bit of a role reversal from the Horde side. Because I remember starting off as the Horde in Mists of Pandaria. You were on the airship. You started to shoot the Alliance soldiers down on the ground. And then, and then you got up to all kind of shenanigans. This is just like vice versa. You're the Alliance this time, and you're on a cannon shooting down Horde bats. So yes, this actually starts off not against the Legion. I mean, this is going past the Broken Shore scenario. So do bear that in mind. So this 40-player scenario, 20 Horde, 20 Alliance, teaming up together to fight the Legion. That's been and gone. That's one of the pre-expansion events things which are going to happen. So this is actually getting into the nitty-gritty of the expansion. So why are the Horde and the Alliance, considering they've just teamed up together to smack the Legion in the face to begin with, why are they now at loggerheads? Okay, so this is where some big spoilers come in. Lady Sylvanas is now the war chief of the Horde. Vol'jin is AFK. He's vanished. We don't know his fate, but he's just gone out of the picture. And what's causing the confrontation? Because we saw in the cinematic for Legion, remember? We saw Varian Rin and we saw Sylvanas and they were nodding to each other. They were on the same page. They landed. They hit the shores of the Broken Shore, without wanting to say shore too much. And they fought side by side. Well, unfortunately, folks, and this is another massive spoiler of Legion, Varian Rin doesn't make it. And Gen Greymane, I'm only going to call him Greymane or Gen from here on in, because saying those two words together is really difficult for me. But Gen Greymane, I'll just slow it down a little bit, has taken over as the head of the Alliance. Now some pieces might be fitting together for people, because if you recall at the beginning of Cataclysm, of course, there was a big storyline with the Worgen about Gilneas and the invasion of Gilneas by the Forsaken, and Sylvanas killed Gen Greymane's son, Liam, during that opening segment. And the Worgen were forced out of Gilneas and they ended up at Darkshore, where the Night Elves are for the Alliance. So Gen is up for revenge against Sylvanas. Now he's found out that Sylvanas has taken over as war chief. Now he is in charge of the Alliance and not Anduin. He's kind of almost using it as a revenge tool. Well, that's what it appears anyway. I mean, there are pieces of this puzzle which haven't yet fit together, but it is quite exciting to kind of go into these theories. But it definitely looks like he's using his... don't worry about the dragon. I'll talk about the dragon in a bit. He's using his influence now as a driving factor to get revenge. And without pushing things on too much, and when I mean in the questing of Stormheim, which is the zone which this leads into, Gen Greymane seems to be on a wee bit of a destructive, self-destructive pathway, that he will literally attempt to do anything to get his hands, to get a shot at Lady Sylvanas. I really hope that that storyline starts to develop throughout the course of this expansion. I mean, it seems it is. It seems like it's going to be one of the major themes of this expansion. Because what we do tend to see all the time is conflict which comes to a forced resolution. I'm talking about things like the end of Miss of Pandaria, where was there really any need for the Alliance and the Horde to kind of have that peace agreement between them? No, they kind of had a pact where the Alliance would help out getting rid of Garrosh Hellscream, because it seemed like, you know, the lesser of two evils to have somebody like Thrall in charge of the Horde as opposed to Garrosh. But after that was dealt with, the only thing that really held Varian back from pushing the fight to the Horde, and remember, Jaina Proudmoore was completely up for that. In actual fact, she was trying to goad Varian into dismantling the Horde, was Anduin. He kind of thought about what Anduin had been throughout the course of Miss of Pandaria, what he'd kind of sacrificed himself in the name of peace. And he said, no, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And we kind of had this little impasse between the two. What I'd love to see at the end of the expansion, and because this is, like I've discussed at the start of this video, this is a spoilery video, feel free to talk spoilers in the comment section. You know, if people are still here and have been warned time and again about the discussion of spoilers, unfortunately it's on their own backs. I would really like to see at the end of this expansion just pure out-and-out conflict between the Horde and the Alliance. No resolution. Either Gen Greymane dies attempting to defeat Lady Sylvanas, or Lady Sylvanas herself becomes a cropper, or they both become a cropper. You know, I would like to see that sort of level of intensity. And with Varian now out of the picture, with Vol'jin AFK, and I don't know if Vol'jin's going to re-emerge in this expansion, or if it's a storyline that they're going to be using to push maybe a Zandalari Lost, you know, the Lost, I was going to say Lost Isles, the High Seas expansion. Maybe it could lead into something like that. Then let's just have a kind of all-out war situation by the end of it. The Alliance and the Horde absolutely hating each other. Leadership in disarray on both sides of the equation, because if Gen Greymane does fall, and if he does die during the course or at the end of this expansion, then the Alliance are in huge trouble. I mean, they are in huge disarray, because one thing that you could say was very positive about Varian was his strength. This guy, although he was very headstrong, very aggressive, very bolshy, he did have the chops to back it up. He wasn't just an asshole, period. He was an asshole that you know, could back up his challenges. He was strong, he was decisive, and those are the things which are very important in leadership. Gen Greymane started off Cataclysm as a very wise, a very strong leader, wanted to protect his people. Sure, we have this xenophobic kind of vibe because they lock themselves away from the outside world, but it wasn't without justification. The Scourge, of course, and also the fact that the Alliance tended to be just using them, and they wanted to get away from that element as well. They wanted to become their own people, so they completely boxed themselves off. And then he seemed very, very astute right up until the death of his son, death of Liam. So we do have somebody that can lead, but at the moment potentially is blinded by his drive for vengeance against Lady Sylvanas. So if he goes, who have we got to run the Alliance? Who can take over as that person? Well, Anduin's a very young man. You know, he might be wise beyond his years, but he doesn't have any experience at all. And speaking of Gen Greymane, here he is on the top, and we're fighting with him as we're taking care of some of the Horde nasties. But can Anduin assume the mantle of leadership? I don't know. Then we've got Jaina Proudmoore, who would have been an amazing fit should she not have gone what she went through with Theramore. And because of that trauma that she went through, that turn in her personality, she's not mad, she's just, again, out for vengeance. She wouldn't be a good fit for leadership right now. She has to come to terms with her demons. They have to be exorcised before she can even consider, or people can even consider her for leadership. So then we've probably got the only viable option would be Muradin. He would be the only viable option to take over the Alliance. So this is really kind of interesting where this storyline can go. And scenario-wise, you kind of saw what was going on there. We're going through different stages of fighting and whatnot. It was very highly enjoyable. I think it's more the story that it's going to set up for this expansion. And there you go. The wreckage of the airship. So it does actually get destroyed somehow by the Horde as well. So let me know what you thought about it going on the screen in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think also about potential storylines. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description down below. Don't worry, Hordies, I'll also do it from your perspective too. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.